Trinidad. We've been around for 50 years. You're celebrating your 50th anniversary. There are other countries that are now way beyond that. They are doing professional netball. Some of our players are in there. Jamaicans, Trinidadians, and so on are playing professional netball. What's the possibility, do you guys think, of having a professional netball, even if it's the fives, a professional netball league in the Caribbean, so that our young women don't have to go to as far as Australia and all these places, but we can set up a system right here. Sherry, I know about you. Trinidad seems to have a prolific set of netball clubs and leagues going, just like Jamaica and so on. What do you think is the possibility? I'm speaking of Caribbean-wise.
Yeah, I think there's a great possibility. The conversation has, it started a little while now of that happening and really coming on stream. I think it is for the region to hone and really own that. It may have to start with a country and probably evolve. But I think it's a great possibility and a great initiative. I've heard of it discussed more than once, but somebody really has to own it. And it can start with us. I don't see a challenge with that.
We have to work on somebody getting a franchise, somebody
Probably.
putting some money
Tricia,
into
what
it.
about,
Yeah.
well, let me go to Tricia, because they seem to have the most resources. So what do you think the possibility? Probably starting in Jamaica?
Well, I wouldn't say we have the most resources, because like everybody else, we make the best use of what we have. We have what we call our Super League, which we term the Elite League here. And we're looking at taking in Caribbean players, not necessarily Caribbean players, but talented players to add to the pool. So, like I said, it's not going to take one day. It's not going to be overnight. It is a process. We recognize where we are in the region. As a region, we're not where we want to be. And so collectively, we will move.
All right. What about Kathy? Your thoughts on that? You think we can get there soon?
I think if we really work on it, we can come up with a league. Jamaica has a super league, and perhaps we could start from Jamaica, inviting talented players from other islands to come and play. Some of the clubs or the groups that play in their super league, scout around for talented players from the other islands, and bring, just like Australia scout for our players and bring them to help play in their to boost their teams. Maybe we could start from there, and eventually it could evolve into a Caribbean league. But if something is there already, then maybe we could, if Jamaica is willing, and they can have a discussion on it. Maybe we could go from there. Each of the other islands have one or two outstanding players, so they could buy them, borrow them, bring them into the respective club there to help to strengthen theirs, and then we move along from there. But I believe it may not happen in my lifetime, but I believe that we can get to where we have a Caribbean Super League.
Madam President, we don't want Kathy to leave and this didn't happen. So
Actually, the Caribbean Netball Association strategic plan has that in it as one of the areas of focus. In fact, we were looking at the ECCB International Netball Series as a stepping stone to creating that regional platform for competitive play, and later on looking at getting somebody to sponsor it when you have more visibility. We started off with, for instance, Barbados coming on board apart from the OECS. So you're building the base for more of a region-wide, what you could call international competitive platform, and from there transition into a super league where you have a sponsor, where you have all the necessary fittings for it to happen. But you needed other countries to come on board. I think other countries who are higher ranked have not seen the need to really sacrifice. I mean, because if you play lower ranked countries like us, obviously it will not benefit you. And also in terms of coming to play and not being able to be paid for to come. So for instance, if you're a higher ranked country, you should be, I mean, encouraging the higher ranked countries to come, paying for their transportation, the accommodation. We cannot afford that as yet. So there is no benefit or win-win, so to speak, in it. But it is something that was being looked at. We also were looking at maybe partnering with the Caribbean banks, because we have ACCB on board with us for the last 30 plus years, and they are going strong with the OECS countries. So there is something already. It's a matter of getting other banks on board or getting the Caribbean Development Bank on board, and to build that base and then mushrooming into something which would really give netballers something to look forward to as a career pathway, quote unquote. But again, we need to have that conversation without too much distraction.
Wonderful.
James, one of the things that I would really like to see happen is that we get back to having our West Indies netball team. And I say West Indies because, yes, we are Caribbean, but when you say a West Indies team, it means a lot more to the outside of us than if you say a Caribbean team. And I really would have liked to see us get back to where we have our West Indies netball team.
Cherian, I think possibly we can do that, because then we can involve like the governments now and just tell them the example is the cricket. But Cherian, I want to get back to you. And basically, I was asked this question and I told them I was going to ask you it online. If there is, let's say, a group of business people willing to host a tournament in Trinidad, I know, of course, they have to go through your channels and so on. What's the possibility of having some of these, and it's a club tournament, by the way, having some of your Caribbean neighbors, the clubs, participate in that tournament? I understand they are going to, they might inject some funds into the tournament. It won't be a lot of US, but might be a lot of TT. So what's the possibility and what's the route for these people?
So James, I think an initiative like that is a stepping stone for more regional play. It's a great idea. I think you should not say more TT, just say more money or
more money.
More something.
Well, no, well, I am being guided. I am being guided by what they tell me, so that
No problem.
if let's say they're doing a tournament like $20,000 first prize or whatever it is, that's gonna just work out to probably about 3,000 US for one of your Caribbean neighbors, and they might think that's a little bit of money. In Trinidad, for a club, that's a good bit of money.
That's a good bit.
That's a lot for a Trinidad club.
Yeah, and it would be great anyway, because right now nobody plays for money in the region except when we play at CAC. So it would be a good initiative to start a club tournament in the region and to have one that is sustainable. It will be another great high-level playing opportunity, something that we need. So we are open to that. Look forward to it happening.
But there used to be a club champion, Caribbean club champions in the region before.
Yes.
Yeah, they used to, because I remember Barbados hosted it and 3 clubs came from Trinidad.
Yes. Well, this time, Kathy, I think the emphasis is not on the clubs. I think the emphasis is on the money. So
I know.
I think the emphasis is on the money.
The possibility is there, because it is something that you are. For instance, if the champion clubs what used to happen was that the top 2 clubs in each country were the ones that went to that club tournament. They didn't play for money. I guess they play for bragging rights, but but the foundation as was laid, so it shouldn't be difficult to get it going again for money.
All right. Well, we're
Actually,
closing.
we had a tournament which had paid for money, the Helen of the West, which was initially sponsored by Supplegen. Reds was instrumental in setting that up, where we had awards. Actually, this year St. Lucia chose to go the way of awarding money as well to the winning teams in each of the 3 divisions. It's not much, but it's getting them to get some
Like
incentive
5,000?
really.
Like
Well,
5,000 US?
no, we could not afford that much in terms of our Division 1 because we did not have as many teams as we initially, because we had set the cash money higher for the Division 1, but because the number of teams was so small, we reduced the award and also for the other teams. But if there was more, we would have probably looked to see how best we could have incentivized it, maybe a 4,000 EC.
Well, maybe what we can look at, ladies, is probably getting the persons who are promoting in St. Lucia, the persons who are promoting in Barbados, in Trinidad, get all these businesses together who are willing to do that, and probably have a proper Caribbean Club Championships where the money is worth the while. So that's one of the things I'm going to throw out to these same individuals, and I'll get back to you guys. Who knows? We might be chatting. Our next chat probably might be on a money league where we'll be able to do. We have